Now, in a general space, when someone washes their car, the focus is usually set on the car's paintwork, tire shine, and that's kind of where the buck stops. However, plastic exterior trim more often than not tends to be left in the dust or poor quality coatings are applied. So why is a decent trim dressing a good thing to have in your detailing arsenal then, even if you're a weekend warrior or just a car cleaning enthusiast? Well, because it adds contrast to your car's shiny paintwork. Not only that, but sun-faded and dry trim sticks out like a sore thumb, especially at car shows. It's like getting the drip together to form a Gundam suit of drip, but then you forget to put lotion on your exposed ashy ankles. Yeah, that's an interesting analogy. Vaseline-less ankles aside, I'm gonna show you lot a nice little dressing from CrazyDetailer. The new Formula VRT dressing from DNAE. Sup, time to look unprofessional. Let's go. I have to use a paper because it's hard to remember lines. Anyways. Full disclosure, CrazyDetailer gave me this cheeky bottle over here to test, and I'm sorry Neil and Wesley that I took ages to review this, but please forgive me, thanks. However, my thoughts and my opinions are of my own, and also I do have the old bottle over here, which is in between my legs, that's a little bit uncomfortable, that I bought myself ages ago. It's just, yeah, it's still full because I only used a little bit of it. Goes a long way, a little goes a long way. Yeah, so let's do a quick visual comparison of the two. Here's the old, and don't drop that. Here's the new. Let's go. As we can see here, the color went from blue to yellow, but what happens if we mix them together like we did in Crash and... it's the same color. Okay, seriously, one thing I can see straight away just from shaking the fluid around in the bottle is that noticeably, the new formula dwells a bit longer on the walls of the bottle. Just from that, I can tell immediately that the new formula is more viscous and sticky compared to the old. When I feel the fluid on my hands, the new formula feels a lot slicker as well. There's your visual pretty much, not that much difference from there apart from color changes and what we can see over here. The new and tasty formula, don't eat it, claims to be improved and longer lasting, so we'll be looking at those two aspects in this video. Here's the thing though, the original blue VRT was already a really good dressing to begin with. It's water-based, goes on easy, it's easy to wipe off, the finish is a satin sheen, it smells nice, and it lasts a decent amount of time depending on the conditions in our rough outside world. It's well priced and it's a pretty hard product to fault, so I hold it in high regard. So can the new formula hold a new candle to the old? Let's test that. To begin with the new formula, we'll start with the dingus. I've been coating this car's exterior plastic trim with Valet Pro's Black to the Future to breathe some life back into the plastics. And it's a really good product indeed. But lately, I've been using the old VRT formula now to dress the plastics since I feel they're pretty much restored to an almost factory new spec. It says on the back of the bottle that it restores faded trim and the like. I'd say faded to a degree, of which I'll get into later. Much like the old formula, the new one goes on easy and it isn't a messy application. Although the formula is more viscous, it still spreads easily, and even when buffed down with a microfiber cloth, it leaves a nice satin sheen which isn't residuey to the touch. Plastics look good. Now, let's make the vehicle face the elements for a week. Ungaraged. Fast forward. Okay, inspection time. The dressing has held up well and still looks good for over a week of being outside in the elements. I can see the new dressing doesn't fade as easily in the sun, but what if I douse it with water though? Will we get the heartbreaker crying makeup in the rain? Oh yeah, for the uninitiated, it's basically what bad trim dressing looks like when it rains and just leaks all over your paintwork. It kind of causes that streaking, like someone heartbroken in the rain and crying. That's a bit grim, no? Money shot! And from what we can see here, it passed! I can conclude that on the Swift that the new dressing holds up really well on the already pampered plastic trim. If anything, compared to the old formula VRT, the durability has improved and is less susceptible to streaking and wearing off easily when it gets hit with water. And even though the old formula was really good against the streaking and wearing off easily, still the new formula actually fares with it really well, even when being hit by the elements for a week straight. Okay, this is pretty good so far, but as I mentioned, my car's plastics are already pretty pampered and maintained, so I think we need a more extreme case, if you will. This right here is my mate's mental FK Honda Civic Type R. It sits under a carport, isn't daily use, but is in the sun a lot, so the plastic trim has taken a beating in spite of the owner's efforts to maintain it. Thanks, African sun, you jerk. Now, look, in retrospect it would have been wise to restore the plastics first, but let's see how well the new VRT fares on sun-damaged plastics. In addition to that, let's see how the old one fares too. On the passenger side, we'll apply the new formula. On the driver side, the old formula. Firstly, I cleaned up the plastics with a rinseless wash just to get a basic clean in. It would have been better to use a dedicated plastic cleaner, but this is just what I had at the time. So far, both formulas take up to the plastics well and moisten them nicely. On the wiper cowl, it seems the new formula took up to the plastics better. I did a few other bits as well, such as the front grills where the fog lamps are and even the fender vents too. So now that's done. I left the car for a while, then 3 weeks passed. 3 weeks later, 2 washes, everyday use, and a thunderstorm or 2, and this is where we stand. From my observations here, it seems that the new formula held up better in some places compared to the old formula. But the old formula wasn't too far behind though. It did bring back a few areas to a fresh finish, but like I said earlier, it does restore fade, but only to a degree, I rate. Then again, this was an extreme case. I think you guys can be the judge over here. Which do you think fared better in this instance? Let me know. For now though, I think we can conclude. So the new formula VRT dressing is an improvement over the old. I mean, it's not a night and day difference, but it does what the old one did, even better, but without compromising on what made the old one good in the first place, which is pretty awesome. I mean, it's kind of hard really to fault this product, but at the same time, I feel that people should really ground their expectations as to what degree of fade this product can actually restore. And it does do a decent amount, definitely, but not so much in the extreme case like I mentioned, but you know, it does a decent amount considering its price point. And speaking of price points, this is how much it costs on screen right about over here. So yeah, I think it's well priced and it does what it says on the bottle. So hey, I don't really see much issue with it. So, should you get this if your plastics are already decently maintained or just need a little bit of a spruce up? I mean, yeah, I think so. This is decent stuff, so yeah, definitely. And of course, a big thank you to CrazyDetailer for giving me the bottle of VRT dressing over there. It's much appreciated indeed, even though it took ages to come out. I really do apologize for that. So yeah, it's TayeedzSA here, guys, and I guess I'll be seeing you around. That's all she wrote. Sharp.